What up, what up? It's your boy Solo, man. This is What's a 9 to 5 podcast. And I found somebody straight out of quarantine. A dope person here, man. He's so dope. I'm going to let him introduce himself. And this is the part where you introduce yourself. You know what I mean?
How you guys doing? My name is Doug, the IT Guy. Alright? So, what you got for me today?
How about I ask everybody on the podcast, what does a 9 to 5 mean to you?
Servitude, indentured slavery, a bunch of other nonsense that, they feed you in school. So, basically, internal damnation.
Okay, so...
For me, it's not a real thing. Because, first of all, I don't even work 9 to 5. I work 9 to 6. My last job, I was 8 to 5. A 9 to 5 means you work 8 hours and you get an hour for lunch. Nobody likes doing that now. I work 9 hours with an hour for lunch. And then the way everything's created now, you probably don't even take that full hour. I'm either eating at my desk while working. In order for me to get the full hour, I have to escape out of the building. Okay,
so to let everybody know, what is your, I don't know if I want to call it 9 to 5, but what is your what is your current damnation 9 to 5 job now?
Welcome to What is Damnation. So, yeah, like I said, I'm an IT guy. That's the generic thing. My actual title is, actually, I don't even know anymore. I know it was desktop support. I'm not sure if they changed it to IT administration or system administration, but, it goes beyond what everyone thinks. I do more than just work with computers.
Yeah, I thought it was just like working on computers and computer stuff.
Yeah, that is the very smallest percentage of my job. I barely actually have to do any actual physical taking apart of a computer to fix it or whatever. Even when I'm touching computers, it's mostly oh, my Excel did this weird thing or this program didn't open. But most of my job is really behind the scenes. The administrative work of what does it take for you to actually be able to log into a computer, use different things, set up accounts. So the thing that controls a user's access to any network, system in a company is usually an Active Directory, which is where you create all the user accounts. So the password you have to log into your computer, that is known as a local account because you are locally there creating it when you buy it, right? I do that once you get hired. So it is a domain account. The domain is just the area in which we work in, the company network. So I create the accounts for that. I give you your passwords. I manage some of the other accounts with any of the software. I manage some of the software. And then there's just a bunch of daily maintenance things. Like you used to when you have updates in your computer. What do? Your computer tells you there's updates and you update. We manage the updates. We control what updates and stuff get to your computer because we don't want to send out an update that may break your computer or something.
Okay, sound like a hacker.
No, it's not even like that. There's we all have this idea of a hacker, going in, and no, man. And then even actual hackers don't even always do that. It's now there's programs and stuff to do this. We just signed up for some cloud-based program called Ninja RMM, which allows me to be able to remote into your computer. So if you were to call me hey, I got this weird thing going on my computer, it's moving slow, I'll just go into Ninja, Team Viewer in, and go, alright, I can look at this. From Ninja, I can uninstall and install software remotely.
You sound like you're a professional hacker.
Okay.
So how
I think that's called a white hat hacker.
Can I say that here? I don't know.
Let's see, you got black hat, the bad one, obviously. Red hat, in between, and then white hat, the good one, obviously.
The black one's the best.
Who saw that coming, right?
Yeah, we can't go into that. But how did you go get into IT?
So I failed a lot in engineering.
Okay.
So I originally went to school for mechanical engineering. Rutgers, New Brunswick, the only real Rutgers. You cut that out, we fighting. My Rutgers hat is in the car, messed up. So, yeah, I went for mechanical engineering. As this guy can tell you, I love working with my hands, building stuff. So it made sense for me to do that at the time. mechanical engineering is really, really hard. And you really, really need to study. Or I'm used to not studying and just doing well and just being lazy. My first semester I did really well, 3.0. And then after that, I really got caught up in the college life and things just dropped. The final nail in the coffin for me was physics was always my best subject. There were 4 physics I had to take. The first 2 is just basic Newtonian physics. Wow, I'm getting really into it.
Yeah, actually, before you get deep into that, what exactly is mechanical engineering?
So
Like a summary of mechanical engineering.
So mechanical engineering is, as they will quickly tell you, is you do not build robots. It's just all mechanical systems. Just any type of mechanical system you make, down to like how a car suspension work, how the brakes may work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this tripod, how that a mechanical engineer probably designed how those legs are going to extend.
Okay.
So yeah, there were 4 physics. First 2 easy. Third one was all electricity. I got a D. I panicked and was like, alright, I can't be an engineer anymore. What else am I going to do? And I'm like racking my brain, like, what else am I good at? And I was like, I'm good at English, but I don't want an English degree. And then it finally occurred to me, like, oh yeah, I'm the only engineer that knows how computers work. I guess I'll do IT.
Okay.
And it was a super easy major, like, I did nothing and got A's.
I mean, that's
Yeah, so there
can't
is.
be that. What are some of the pros and cons of of IT?
Well, that depends on what you view as a pro and con. Me personally, so I've always been a person, I never liked the idea of a career. Like I said, working is servitude. You know, unless you truly enjoy your job, which is possible. You know, if you really enjoy what you're doing, you're never really at work.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I always just saw IT as just a way to pay for the things I actually enjoy doing. So the cons for me are like, you know, sometimes you can have really long hours. You've heard the horror stories of my last job. Like, I could be there, I start work at 8, I may not leave till like 7. There were times, like the latest I ever stayed was till 11. You know, there were times I had to work weekends. We were on call, so you're talking about your sleep, and all of a sudden you get a call 3 in the morning. This is happening, this and now I gotta wake up the whole team, and you know, we're working all these crazy hours. And it was just, sometimes it could be a hostile environment. Because the problem with IT is, we don't generate income directly. We may write a program or a system that brings income, but because we are not salespeople, you know, income that you can directly translate or whatever, we're viewed as an expense, a unwanted necessary evil. That's pretty much how a lot of companies will treat you. Because all we do is cost them money because they need these systems in place. And IT people are not cheap. You know, once you go beyond entry level, you probably should be making 60 grand and above. So that companies don't like you for that. So that is one of the biggest cons of IT. Now, one of the pros, especially if you're at a good company, you get a lot of flexibility. So, you know, you tell me tomorrow, let's go somewhere, take the week off. I'm like, all right, cool. I got the days.
Yeah.
You know, depending, you work with your boss. My last boss, he said he always wanted a week in advance for every day you want to take off. So
it sounds like you guys are like, so if I was IT, how do you apply for a job? Like it's just a regular application? Because it can't be simple as that. It's like a free agent or something like that.
No. So there's always going to be some kind of competency test. So my last company was really hard to get into. Everybody had to take a placement exam, basically. It was some kind of competency test, and it was very hard. I just so happened to score very well on it. So it was that, and then I went on, did the interview from there. And the interview, longest interview of my life, 3 hours.
3 hours?
3 hours.
I met with my boss, talked with him twice, head of HR, then I spoke with the general manager, and then I spoke with the owner of the company.
For 3 hours?
That was 3 hours.
Asking questions for 3 hours?
Asking questions. So obviously the IT manager asked IT related questions. So it was my first job, so he understood that like I didn't know everything. And there's just some things you're just not going to know because like the Active Directory again, that is not something an average person has access to. So you only read about that. You do not have hands-on experience. So that's one of the things that will fall into learning on the job, but as long as I have an idea of it and how it works, that's what they were looking for. And do you have problem-solving skills?
No. I said no. Well, like,
I mean, I do.
I said no. I mean, like, no, but 3 hours, though?
3 hours, and then at the end of it, so here's the good thing, though. I was expecting to just go home and hear from them. They offered me right then and there.
All right,
so it didn't feel like a complete waste of time.
Oh, so it was like straightforward.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, though. That's dope.
Now,
that's
my
dope.
current job, my boss works out of Jerusalem. I was there for an entire year before I ever met him in person. So, it was a phone call, a virtual exam I had to take. It was a written and multiple choice exam. And then 2 video calls with my boss. He's Jewish, so, and because of the time difference, he doesn't work Friday evening, Saturday, morning. Yeah. So our first video interview was a Sunday. So I was already like kind of upset, like a Sunday. And then my one and only coworker, who also works in Jamestown, I recently only just saw what he looks like 3 months ago, and I've been there like 2 years. He did like a video chat with me. He was like, yeah, no need for a camera. So it was just like, you're just talking to these people, and he was just like, yeah, all right. And they're all like, yeah, They wanted somebody with experience, and by the time I had 3.5 years experience.
So how is the actual work atmosphere there? I mean, is it like cubicles? Like, is it office?
It's a open workspace. My original job was cubicles. This one is an open workspace. So like the lady I sit next to, we're this far apart. This is what's in between us. It is a little bit I have on my desk. My desk wraps around, but she has her folders. I have my stapler and some CDs, and the rest of my desk, but this is Linda and I. It's just a file cabinet.
That's it?
Yep. It's going to make it hard to go back till COVID's fixed.
So how, is it just you two? Is it you two? That's it?
No.
It's just the whole office?
This is how the office is laid out. Everyone is set up that way. So I'm the only IT person in that, I don't want to say building, but there's multiple companies in the building. But for my company, I'm the only IT person on site. We have multiple locations. Like I said, my boss is in Jerusalem. My other coworker is upstate New York. So, yeah, I'm out there just amongst the people on my own.
All right, so how is working during the quarantine? Or did you get laid off, or like you still employed?
Oh, I'm still employed. Working from home. Right now they want us to do 1 day in the office a week. Due to this nature of my work, sometimes I have to do more. But working from home was fine. There wasn't very much. There's basically almost nothing that I can't do from home. There were definitely things that would be easier had I been in the office, but it's like.
So would you rather work from home or in the office? Because some people are actually, they want to go back to work.
I can understand
so would you rather be employed and go back to work, or be employed and stay home?
I'd rather be employed and stay home. You know, honestly, there's just a lot of, I'll be nice and say there's a lot of personalities I don't have to deal with at home that I'd rather not deal with at work.
Okay. So what do you think about the people? To me, cause like when I hear people actually rather go back to work, I kind of think that's crazy.
Well, you know, it depends on what your job is like, and I can understand.
Unless you have like a super, I don't know, exciting job with, like, you know what I'm saying, you enjoy all the personalities.
Well, yeah, you got to enjoy everybody there, and then too, you also got to think about what's your situation at home. So imagine you and I don't have kids. I have friends with kids during this entire thing. They're constantly trapped with kids. You need a break. No matter how much you like somebody, you need a break.
Yeah, I can see that.
Going to work is their break. I don't have anybody at home giving me trouble, so.
Okay, all right. So it depends on your home situation.
Yeah. Like
right.
If I had to continue this much longer, the only thing I would change is right now I work out of my bedroom, so I just got this and a laptop in the middle of the floor is annoying. I'm like, okay, I will go work, grab my giant monitor, and just set up a workspace outside of my room. That's it.
All right. But speaking of breaks, though, what do you do outside of work? let me pray. What are one of the things that you do outside of work? You know what I'm saying? To separate, you know, like your job brain to back to, you know.
All right, well, I'll just bring up the main thing. What mostly everybody knows is, you know, I do martial arts. Specifically, I do Filipino martial arts. What Jason Bourne did in all the Jason Bourne movies. So yeah, that's my main thing. I teach it. I train. That's the bulk of my free time.
What's the martial art?
Eskrima.
Eskrima?
Eskrima or Kali or Arnis.
And that consists of that's with the sticks, correct?
Yeah, so sticks, bladed weaponry, so knives, machetes, and empty hands.
How did you get into that? How you got introduced to Eskrima?
So it was freshman year of college. I was hanging out in my friend Dash's dorm. We were supposed to be watching V for Vendetta. We've been supposed to watch this movie for months, and finally our schedules finally met up. My buddy Anthony walks in. He has these sticks on his back, and we're like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, I practice martial arts, Screamer. You want to go?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't want to go." And they forced me to go. He's like, "Yeah, it's only an hour. Just go." Long story short, here we are 12 years later, and I now teach that same class.
How many students? Like, do you get belts and stuff? Like, do you get like a gi, a belt?
So, at Rutgers where I teach, we don't have belts or uniforms. Everything is just come in whatever's comfortable. But I'm thinking about giving them belts now that I'm allowed to do that. But, you know, in the other school I train at in Jersey City, I do have a uniform and my belt.
Okay, so what is your rank?
I am first grade black belt.
So, I guess at that rank, you can have students, give out. How do you decide if you want to give out belts? Like, what rank do you have to be at?
So you have to be a black belt.
Have to be a black belt.
So I can promote everybody up to right below black belt. For black belt, I believe you have to be master rank.
Okay, so if somebody wants to apply, how would they do that? They just come up to me and be like, I want to learn this schema?
Yeah, just show up.
That's it?
Just show up.
That's it? So I just come in there like on some Cobra Kai and
just show up.
That's crazy. So how long does it take to get to the next? Is it a ranking system? Yeah. I know nothing about a screamer. It's like the ranking system.
Really?
We
know each other.
I don't know the ranking system.
No, yeah. It's the belts are.
Because now you're saying belt. Because like if I just show it with a gi, like if I just show it with a gi and say I'm like master, you know what I'm saying, master.
Oh, we gonna know.
How you gonna know though? If I walk in there, you're not gonna know.
Oh, we gonna know.
How you gonna know?
Because one, we know everybody, and then two, you don't think we're gonna test that?
I mean, I'm saying though, but what about if I was somewhere where you're not testing it? It's just like I'm just saying, you can't know.
No.
Maybe from like tendencies and mannerisms, maybe, but
no. You walk in, what are you gonna do? You just gonna stand there and say I'm master?
But
we're gonna expect you to step on the mat and go, well, why don't you show us what you know?
But what about I don't want to do that? You gonna say I'm not a master, but
yeah.
but now it's your word against mine though. Technically,
no, it's my hand against your word. You forget we old school.
Yeah, that too. But the new school is coming. So if somebody walks into a dojo, right, and says I'm a master, you guys cannot beat me, but I do not want to test y'all. What do you say? I mean, you can beat him up, yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not a master.
I was just gonna laugh him out of there.
That does not mean he's not a master.
Yeah, he's a master in his head. Whoever gave him that belt.
I mean, yeah, but the mind is the strongest weapon. So technically, you know what I'm saying? If he's a master in his mind,
you got me on camera. Now you tested me. You know me. Now you tested me.
I know, but I never really thought about like the martial arts like outfit.
That's a common thing though. You bring up a point. People do walk in the gyms claiming to be something. And the thing is, you can't claim to be something like that which requires physical application because you're going to at some point have to prove it, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to become clearly obvious. Like if I told you to go in, if you say you do network engineering, I'm like, okay, run this fiber optic cable, connect it to that was filled the stuff. I'm going to know whether or not you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah, but that'd be crazy if somebody don't want to do all of that though. Like, you can block a master and run out. You know what I'm saying? Well, okay, hypothetically, what about if that's a real master, though? And he's just, let's say, trolling or something like that. Masters don't troll? There's a different word.
No, they ain't troll. But I'm going to be like, I'm waiting for them to come back and say like and subscribe.
Oh.
What's the YouTube channel?
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay, yeah. So how do people find you? What if they was, like, if somebody was watching, like, yo, maybe I want to try a screamer. Let me go find this guy. How do they find you? Or is it one of those?
Well, you know, the Rutgers one, you have to be a Rutgers student. But if you want to train at the school I train at, then 727 West Side Ave, Jersey City. All right? We're in St. Aloysius Elementary School in the back. The website, the school is Pima Academy. The website is pimaacademy.com. Also, doseparasusa.com. All those will get you to us.
That's dope, man. For free and everything.
Oh, that one ain't for free.
Oh.
That ain't my school. That one you got. Well, actually, all of them you got to pay. I just don't make no money.
They don't do it for the love of martial arts.
Rent costs money.
Yeah, the rent the dojo, right?
Yeah, that actually, it's cheap though. On the cheap, I've been to gyms that charge you an arm and a leg, but this one is definitely like so cheap. It's like, how do you pay the bills? And I know the answer is barely.
But so besides the screamer, is there any other martial arts that you do?
Well, I was an amateur boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Then quarantine happened, so I'm like 50-50 whether or not I'm going back to that. I'm 30. I can't be fighting 20-year-olds like I used to.
You can't fight them. You probably you had a disadvantage, but you can fight them.
Look, my last master's in the Golden Gloves, and I was tired. I just got off work.
I mean, Tyson coming back. Well, he's not coming back, but he's about to fight.
First of all, Tyson ain't human. That's an animal.
Yeah.
I bleed.
Yeah. A lot of people think he's gonna lose though.
Roy Jones ain't nothing to mess with.
I think I'm gonna give. If they go the distance.
And here's the other thing. Don't get me wrong. Tyson got skill. He got power. But he really only. Everybody know what his moves are gonna be.
Yeah.
When you're that fighter, where everyone grew up watching you. Like, I bet if I told you get up right now and do one of Tyson's moves, you'd do it.
Yeah.
So everybody knows the game plan. So unless he's back here reinventing himself at 53, Roy Jones got his number.
But I think if they go the distance, I think it's gonna be tough for Tyson.
Yeah.
But I think the first 3 rounds automatically gonna be tough for.
Oh yeah.
I think the longer it go,
I would say I agree with
Tyson.
that. Tyson's he gotta get you out early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so no more boxing.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about it?
We'll see. Yesterday I actually went back to practice for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sore.
Or not? But actually, no. I was curious about the Spartan Races though. You did a digital one, right?
Yeah, I did a virtual one. So all that is I signed up for the super. So that required me to do 6.2 miles. So I just ran around town.
So explain that though, because I don't even know. I seen when you posted it, but I didn't get it. So you just sign up for it and they give you like an app or something like that.
So all you do, they don't give you an app. You have to track it yourself somehow and just share proof on social media that you did it. Tag Spartan. So I just did my miles and they gave you a set of exercise. So I just, you saw I just posted my actual map of where I ran, and then
it's a certain time limit though, right?
Not for that one. It's the virtual, no, but in person, yeah. Yeah, so I just did that, and I just went home and did the exercises, and I had signed up, and I paid the extra package to get a shirt and medal piece. So.
Okay. How many miles was the Spartan one?
This one the super was 6.2.
6.2.
But it's interesting. So this was an actual 6.2. For any of you guys thinking about doing Spartan races, if you haven't, they are not always truthful about the distance. They do not count obstacle. They do not count elevation. So the one time I did a super, it turned out to actually be 10 miles.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing that. I do my 1 mile.
I pulled both abductor muscles and I have an everlasting pain in my foot.
Spartan, man.
I finished 5.5 hours.
I don't think I'm doing that. So, and that was through quarantine, right? Well, that
Yeah.
was before.
No, I did the virtual one during quarantine. I did that in what, June?
No,
Yeah.
I think that might be on a bucket list though, but I don't think I'm
I will do a sprint. They're not too bad. That's only 3.
I want to do the Spartan ones. I want to get the Spartan
Oh, the
armor. I want
Spartans.
to get the Spartan gear in the middle. That's what I
Oh
want.
yeah, the Spartan sprint's only 3 miles.
Where so, not promoting nothing. Not promoting nothing.
Well, I'm supposed to promote, so.
The dojo. He said where the dojo was at. You know, if you want to apply, you know, get a.
You gonna put something up here right above
Yeah,
my
it's
head?
gonna
A link?
be-
You can put a link.
Yeah.
I see the link.
I'm not David Blaine. I can't. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So you know.
Click the link, like and subscribe.
Yeah. You got a YouTube channel?
Now I'm listening over you. Tell them like and subscribe.
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying?
I
This is
can't be on YouTube.
What's a 9 to 5 podcast. I appreciate Douglas coming through. Another dope person. You know what I'm saying? Just rock with me, man. Got another one coming soon, and we fresh out of quarantine, man. So you know, holla at me. That was kind of chill. I don't like that. That was fine.
Wait, this was about IT.